All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Dylan Luss here with the National Weather Service in Atlanta, and I'm going to give you guys the weather briefing today on it's Halloween. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so just a few highlights about what we're going to be talking about today. We've currently got a cold front that's moving through the area, and that's bringing the current rain and a couple of thunderstorms that we have just south of the metro right now, and that'll continue through the afternoon and into the evening. The SPC has a marginal risk of severe storms for us for most of north and central Georgia, and we also have a slight risk in far northeastern Georgia as well. We've got a flood watch in effect until 8 p.m. this evening for portions of north and central Georgia, and a freeze warning in effect from 11 p.m. to 10 a.m. for after that cold front passes through tonight. We've also seen some improvements to the drought conditions with all this rain that we've been getting. And so with that, though, we still have drought in the area despite that rainfall. So we're still going to need a little bit more to kind of pick things up, but we'll talk about that in a bit. All right, so looking at the overall current conditions, on your left are the temperatures and the current radar. And then on your right are some current wind gusts with the radar overlaid as well. And so what you can see on this is we currently have a cold front that's actually moving into our area. Right now it's getting through Rome and the northwestern portions of Georgia, and it should be moving into the metro here in the next hour or two. And so with that, we have thunderstorms that are located kind of right along the line here where that cold front is pushing through, and then we've got some just some good soaking rain in behind that. And temperatures are falling off pretty quickly. It's currently in the 70s in the metro in Atlanta, but you can see up here towards the northwest, we've got temperatures already going down into the 50s. And if you go even further behind that, you can see there are some 40s and even 30s lurking off in Alabama and Tennessee. And so that's kind of a precursor of, or I guess, yeah, a precursor of what we're going to see later on tonight as this cold front moves through. Over here on the wind gusts, as the cold front moves in, do expect winds to basically shift pretty quickly from being out of the south to being out of the west. And as that cold front moves through as well, expect your wind gusts to pick up just a little bit. We're seeing wind gusts across the state generally in the 15 to 20 mile per hour range ahead of the cold front, and then it picks up a little bit to be in the 20 to 25 mile per hour range behind it. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, the Storm Prediction Center has a convective outlook out for us today. Most of north and central Georgia is under a marginal risk, and then up in northeast Georgia, we have a slight risk just on a couple of counties up here. Our primary threat today is damaging wind gusts. That's really what we'll be focusing on as this cold front moves through. There is, however, a non-zero risk of a spin-up tornado with some of these thunderstorms along this front. As the cold front pushes through you, basically the thunderstorm threat should end for anyone who that cold front pushes through. So already we can say that northwest Georgia, for instance, most of the threat for northwest Georgia is over as the cold front has already pushed through. There's thunderstorms that are kind of along the line here, very close to the I-85 corridor right now. And those are basically located right along the cold front. And so those are basically what we're monitoring right now in terms of our severe weather. Obviously, a little bit later, we'll begin to see potentially a pickup in thunderstorms here towards the northeastern sections of Georgia. All right, so overall precipitation amounts, we're estimating most of the precipitation should fall across northern portions of Georgia, where you could pick up another half of an inch or so before all is said and done. Same with the Atlanta, anywhere from a quarter of an inch to about a half of an inch. As you move further south, a little bit closer to a quarter of an inch is expected across most areas today. And so it's been raining a good bit the past couple of days, as you're probably aware, especially over the northern portions of the state. And so we do have some flood watches out for those areas, and that does include parts of the Atlanta metro. The reason for that is, as I said, it's been raining several days in a row already, so we do have saturated soils that are in place. And so any additional rainfall that we do get can lead to flooding, especially where we get locally heavier rainfall. And that's in effect through 8 o'clock this evening as that cold front kind of slides on by and precipitation is expected to come to an end. Our impacts for that, expect any potential flooding of creeks, streams, and rivers. And also we could see some flooding on roadways and low-lying areas, especially where we have, given that it's fall right now, we have a lot of leaves around, and so those leaves can get to the storm drains, clog up those storm drains, and we can get a little bit of localized flooding because of that. So this graphic is for you guys. I know a lot of you guys probably have Halloween events and things like that that you're going to be dealing with tonight. So we kind of wanted to give you a best estimation of when you could expect the rain to have kind of moved through your area for the most part. I do want to emphasize these times are estimated. They right now they represent our current best estimate for what's going to happen tonight. Given the radar trends, it is possible that these times could be a little slow and that the precipitation may be moving a little faster than we expected, which would be a great thing because the sooner the precipitation moves out, the better. As you can see from this line right here, we're expecting for the very northwestern corner of Georgia that most of the precipitation will have ended by 5 p.m. By 6 p.m., we're starting to get, especially northwestern portions of the Atlanta metro. By 7 p.m., pretty much all of the Atlanta metro has ended, and most of north and central Georgia, the exception of the eastern portion of the state. And by 8 p.m., we expect most of the rain to be moved out of the area. So hopefully, for those of you that do have events, and obviously you'll have trick-or-treaters out and about in most of your counties, hopefully it should be relatively dry. But because it's going to be dry, that means the cold front will have already moved through. And so the temperatures will be falling off pretty quickly tonight. So what I have for you here is the apparent temperature. Basically, it's the temperature, and then we're going to add in the effects of the winds that will be blowing behind that front. You can see, and especially up here in the northwestern portions of the state, by 6 p.m., we've already got temperatures that are falling off into the lower 40s. We're in the mid-40s in the Atlanta metro area, and you can kind of see where our cold front is kind of draped across the middle part of the state here. And as we go forward in time, here's 7 p.m., we're already getting into the upper 30s in the northwestern portion of the state and lower 40s in the Atlanta metro. And then 8 p.m., we're still getting colder, 9 p.m., and 10 p.m. And so by 10 p.m. tonight, temperatures will have fallen off a good bit. Will actually be very close to freezing in portions of the in the northwest portions of the state, and even in the Atlanta metro area. So, or at least our apparent temperature will be close to freezing, I should say. So we'll definitely want to communicate out to kids and parents and stuff like that tonight that if you are holding any kind of event in the northern and central portions of the state, you'll probably want to make sure folks are bundled up and ready for after this cold front passes through. So with that as well, with these colder temperatures coming in, we do have a freeze warning in effect. So we are expecting temperatures, the actual temperatures, to duck into the lower 30s and even into the upper 20s in our higher elevations, especially in northern Georgia. And so that'll be from 11 p.m. tonight until 10 a.m. Friday. We could see damage to crops and other sensitive vegetation. And if you've got any outdoor plumbing that's unprotected or anything like that, we could also see damage to that. So a quick look at the drought over the area. This week's drought monitor, which came out today, it's valid as of Tuesday, but it came out today, shows, especially with these rains that we've had recently, we continue to see improvement over the area. We've seen the area covered by the D2 and the D3. The severe drought and the extreme drought continues to shrink. We basically shaved off another couple of percentage points this week. So we continue to see improvement basically all across the state, which is great to see. That being said, we still do have drought across the state. And so we'll still need rains in order to, or I guess I should say we'll still need continued rain in order to kind of lift us out of this drought. So a quick look at the 7-day temperatures. I'm mostly focused on today because I know you guys probably have a lot of Halloween events, but looking forward into the future, we really don't see any chances of precipitation or anything like that return to the area until the middle of next week. Our temperatures, Starting tomorrow and Friday across the area will kind of fall off a little bit. We're seeing 50s to the lower 60s pretty much across northern and central Georgia. And basically throughout the week, we'll see kind of a very slow but steady climb back up towards the upper to middle 60s and even 70s in different parts of the state. All right, so just to summarize, we've got a cold front moving through. It's bringing rain and a few thunderstorms through this afternoon and evening. There is a marginal risk of severe storms and a slight risk in far northeastern Georgia. That's primarily a wind threat, though there is a non-zero tornado threat with that. We have a flood watch in effect until 8 p.m., a freeze warning in effect from 11 p.m. to 10 a.m., and we did see improvements in our drought, though overall we still do have drought in the area. And so we'd love for you to connect with us. Here's our phone number if you need to give us a call, talk about anything, especially if you have any events or anything this evening that you'd like to know or like to, I guess, get an update on the weather for. This briefing will get posted to our briefings page. You can always check out our website for the latest information. We're also always on Twitter and Facebook monitoring that. And we'll also upload this briefing to our YouTube. So for those of you that are still here, I will leave you real quick before I open up the floor to some questions for everyone. I'll leave you with a quick little special Halloween treat from our morning sounding. All right, thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us, and also put them in chat.
If you guys are on the phone call, if you want to unmute your individual line, you can hit #6 to ask a question. Or #6.
All right, everyone. That'll be it. Thank you so much.